Yeah, well, we're going to do a monotype. And a monotype is a method in printmaking where you are doing one of, mono being one. So it's not something you can repeat, like a lot of printing methods are, designed that way. And this, you don't really need a press. What I'm going to show you is like a layered type of method where you roll ink, and we're going to demonstrate that, and you press your image onto the paper, and then you go from there and you create something that's a build-up, a monotype being it's a one of a kind. Today we're going to do a door knocker. We both have door knockers in our show, and both are actually monotypes, aren't they?
They are. Yeah.
But they're like different approaches. We're going to start by showing you the background that we're creating. Charlotte's going to roll this ink, it's called rolling ink, onto the cedar plank. So she's rolling the ink and getting everything around what these are called brayers. And then she's going to start applying the ink right onto the cedar shingle. And it's wonderful. You can see the grain immediately. And that's kind of a thrill. So I'm going to put this piece of paper right over. I'm just going to eyeball it. So we're just going to go ahead and put it on here without moving it. Once it's on, you don't move it because then you're going to smudge your image. So I'm going to use a brayer. This is like hand pressing. And I'm going to carefully but firmly roll this across. And what's happening is that the ink is transferring to the paper. And people also do hand rubbing this way. You don't need any fancy equipment for this. So you start from one end, and then you slowly pull this away from the wood. But before printing it, I actually put the door knocker shape on top of this. I placed the door knocker image cut out on top, and then I printed it. I'm going to demonstrate how we get this sort of drawn image into this to make it sort of more three-dimensional. And this is a little bit complicated. It's like right brain, left brain. Now I am going to be putting ink all over my plate and then putting this face down onto the ink. And what's going to happen is where I draw, it will pull the ink away. But the secret is you have to have the image on the back of the paper. So therefore you have to like hold it up to the light and find an exact, usually I do this in a window so I can find where it is. Otherwise the registration might be, well, it might even be kind of wacky anyways, but so that's what I'm doing here. I've got my drawing, and then I have my door knocker print on this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to ink this plate. Don't want ink on the background, right? So I've made this keyhole that's going to be placed on top. And that way only this black will be transferred into the door knocker. This is water-soluble ink, which is really nice when you use, oil-based inks. There's a lot of cleanup. So you can see this shine on here, and it kind of looks like orange peel. Right. So you've worked with your brayer to kind of get that nice finish. So I'm going to put this here and tape this down. I am going to lay this on top of here. Normally, I would also tape this so it's like an envelope, sort of. Yeah. So I'm just eyeballing. Charlotte, you look down and tell me if it's. Can you look down there? Okay. Are we good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So I'm going to duck very carefully, and then you pray to the print goddess.
Yeah.
I'm going to start sort of at the top, and I am going to trace all of these lines. And it's kind of helpful if you had a different color than what you have here, so you can see where especially if you're doing more than one. And you don't want to, try not to put your hands on anything so that you get smudging. So we're just going to go here. This might take a little bit of time. And this is a fairly open design, so I don't have to be super careful. Ooh. And there you have a Monotype door knocker. So just the right amount of black transferred. If you had just lines, it would look like a tracing paper or something. But because of this texture and some of the ink sticking, even the slightest pressure I put on when I was doing things, it just kind of pushed in. It has like a really nice, a nice look to it. And sometimes this image, this is like, could be printed, say, I think you need a different kind of paper, a little softer. I could print this, it's called a ghost print. And it will come up as white lines. Oh, you could try it, just for fun. Printmaking just goes forever. But it might be interesting to just see what happens. Well, there's a faint image you can see, like a ghost. With printmaking, you know, it kind of gets endless, and that's why it's so interesting. You know, it's not just like one thing and then that's all. You can take things in different directions.